Hello, trading is closed on June the 23rd, 2021. We always begin with our disclaimer. It's important to remember that my calls can be completely wrong, that all trades should be at your own risk. Please follow the rules of my channel, click like, and tell your friends. I'm still getting people who ask me about my video, my book. The instructions are over here. I just don't like to do advertising every day. Okay, well, let's look at today's pattern, which could be quite significant. We look for the pattern with the early high, and that's it. And tomorrow's pattern also has the early high. Now, it's typically a rally day with a high in the final hour. Well, the high came in the final hour, but it certainly wasn't a rally day. When you don't get the rally day, you get a straight line drop, and that's it. And usually when you get the straight line drop, instead of the rally, there's more weakness in store. Now, this is also a wall into the close, so it could be a false move. You don't know until tomorrow's open. If it is a false move, we're going to gap up, take out today's high early, and if that's what happens, all this negativity goes away. But if we don't, this is an extremely negative pattern for a number of reasons, which we'll discuss. First of all, we came very close to the old high and couldn't break it. When we dropped, we not only undercut these highs, we undercut this low, and we also undercut the high from the prior consolidation at the close. That's a rejection of this whole top. Now it has to be confirmed by continuing to drop, but if it is, it should lead to much lower prices. We had a few buy signals today. You had one early in the day. A buy signal in this pattern just means you're going to overtake the high of this bar, and we did that by 2 cents. Now, overtaking it by 2 cents satisfies the signal. You don't get any trade out of it, obviously. But when you come that close to the target, and it's called a direct hit, if this stays, and we don't know that yet, if this stays, it has the potential and a strong potential for leading to a very strong move in the other direction. We did have a call this drop is false, price it would retrace. Here we saw the higher price would print. We dropped first, said it was false, and then we got the higher price. This is just a review of what we said yesterday. One thing that's changed is that the volatility index was on a buy signal. It switched today and gave a sell. Well, here was my pattern where I wanted this to work. I don't always get everything I want. But we had a confluence of time and price right at the high. And for this to work, you wanted this month's high to hold. And so far, by a fraction, it's held. And as long as it's held, as long as it's holding, this pattern remains legitimate, and it calls for us being in wave blue C. Now, it certainly isn't a lock, but if we undercut these lows and get follow through, I don't see how we recover before we get some kind of leg down comparable to wave blue A. But again, we cut it pretty close today. If the negativity continues, it's going to be very negative. I thought we'd have this resolved by today when you close essentially unchanged within 0.25%. Just move things over for a day. So I'm hoping it'll all be resolved tomorrow. I won't be around to see it because I have personal business all day. But if the bulls are going to win this, they're going to have to overtake this high fast. If the bears are going to win, it should be obvious very soon. Because if this is the real thing, we're just going to keep on dropping. I did have 3 question marks after this major top believed to be in place. 2 of them I erased, again, because of the wall into the close. It could still be invalidated, you never know. But this is very negative action in a pattern which is usually positive. We also, don't forget, have a hole in the wall gap, which should fill, and that's much lower down. Okay, tomorrow's pattern has the early high. We could gap down. Today's normally bullish pattern was bearish instead. Unless invalidating by gapping and properly overtaking the high of the day, we should see lower prices, probably significantly lower prices tomorrow. We didn't overtake the all-time high, keeping intact the confluence of time and price at this month's high. The volatility index has switched to a Bollinger Band reversal sell signal, and this close today was under multiple prior highs. Now, because of the wall into the close, we could still gap up and invalidate negative pattern from today's trade, but if we don't, technicals remain compatible with a major high being in place. We'd still need to undercut some prior lows to confirm this. But you really have everything you need except for the down move to start. Everything else I look for in the top is already here. You just have to see if it stops signaling and starts dropping, and I'm expecting it to be pretty obvious pretty early, because this is very negative action as long as this high holds. You just don't know if that high is going to hold yet. Okay, tomorrow has the early high. If this holds, look out below, and that's today's call.